that white strawberries exist. Now, Daisy, female. Daisy's name in Japan is Horumon, apparently. A second cousin who is a cow through and through. Their running speed is the same as whether on 2 or 4 legs. I'm glad they don't have the old description for Daisy. For those who don't know, Daisy's feet squirt milk when she runs. I just think this is important for y'all to know. Oh, I want to see this. Bad lily pads go in the leaf prison. Huh? You actually brought me back? I don't think you've been listening at all. I could say anything and you just stand there nodding. Oh, to your food good. Will you visit there? Would you want? See? Communication is useless with you. Oh my god! Oh, beautiful. Got him. Why does my character look around? Because I have rabies, OBC. It comes with the clown nose. The real question is, are those my eyebrows or are those my eyeballs? I'm going to aim for the 4th square. Right here. I'm aiming right in the 4th square.
Everyone else, choose a
Gonna aim for that 4th square right there. Hey, Snow.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Let the games begin. Pick a spot to drop from.
Let's go.
Ever heard of chaos theory? Well, this is
Oh! Woo!
Oh, I am filled with rage about the whole nobody dying thing.
Yeah! Spirit. Has something in mind for us to do? I guess would be a start. Heck yeah! Okay, you throw away this one that is behind me. You throw away that one, because that one's bent. You throw away the bent ones. Why do we have more bent ones? Throw away this one. Throw away this one. Throw away this one. This is a fucking tooth. That's an acorn. Acorn goes up there, though, for some fucking reason, doesn't it? And then the tooth goes right there. I don't know why we're keeping those. Oh, fucking Lego brick in the tool drawer. That goes right there. Oh, got a nut. That goes there. Tooth is in the wrong spot. Sorry, my apologies. It goes in the tooth hole. Sorry. For this being like a, oh, here's the cleaning thing. What the fuck? Where'd he go? Oh, God.
Yes. Let's all laugh. Ha, 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 ha.
Get headshots with the rifle. No.
Game!
No! I'm not dead yet. You stop that. Oh, God. Did he die? I can't see anything. What even? Right. Down. Oh, rude. You suck. Crap. Crap. Ah, wait. I thought I was doing better, but I was staring at the AI. Crap! Snow's a jerk. I got last! Snow bullied. Snow bully! Wait, can I? Yes! I found what it's for! Let me take the Katamari. Oh god! Help! Help! I'm gonna destroy these cabbages. My cabbages! Wait, I gotta do it right. My cabbages! Is that better?
Hello. Hello. Oh, now Mari, now we're on speaking terms, Mari.
To see you.
Now we're on speaking terms. Right as I get back. Ow. Hello, everyone. I can't see your check-ins. The answer to the question of what kind of pizza is margarita pizza. We're gonna have a bit more intense music today. Boop. Because my brain is overwhelmed. But hello, everybody. I hope you're doing alright. I am having a mental health day, so I do apologize if my energy... I think it's best if you look it up, Finn. But no, I'm in a mentally drained spot. That's a little loud. But I'm in a mentally drained spot right now, so I do apologize if my energy levels are a bit lower than one would like. I see you! There's a gnome there. I apologize again for canceling this morning's stream. I was not in a good brain space, is the best way I can describe it. Maybe, Timber, if you do it during the starting soon, Mari will say hi. If you do it not during the starting soon, Mari doesn't say hi. That's the rule there. Mari only says things during the starting soon. Yeah, you did yesterday. I responded to you yesterday when you had asked if you did that by accident in your pocket, and I go, yes, you did do that by accident. And I had said that Mari had said, DDDS. Kinda neat that they have you cleaning the underside. It's very weird that they have this trough here. You know, I thought, you know, this is the thing about being, like, mentally overwhelmed. Thought this is what I wanted to listen to. It wasn't. That's the only time I can think of offhand, but that doesn't mean that's the only time. Like, I could be wrong. Eh. Okay. But yeah, no, I'm just having a mental health day. I do appreciate y'all a lot. I'm just not in the best headspace, so I do apologize if my energies are a bit off, but I figure, you know what, it's a late night stream. I've been having this issue where, I'm feeling slightly... I'm feeling disappointed in a lot of games right now. Games making not the best, calls, things like that, right? But... yeah. No, it's... Like, I'm disappointed because one of the things I would always go to, and I'm sure many of you are aware, is like when I was in a spot where I didn't know what to play, I would end up playing Fortnite, right? But I morally cannot play Fortnite anymore. I do agree with that. I do agree with that door about having it, but those are like set locations. We're on a dig site where they would have used that for. What? Why are you so yellow? Squeak, why are you so yellow? Why can't I go all the way over here? I have multiple questions. Why am I allowed this far over? Anyway. But no, I'm very low energy right now, so I do apologize. This probably won't be the most energetic of streams. Also, I was going to do the discount thing myself, for those who don't know, for like gift subs. And I'm a little annoyed about this. I was gonna do gift subs. And I was gonna be like, okay, if 5 or more gets the discount, because Twitch gave me tickets to use for that, and I can do it I can do it 7 times a year, blah 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 blah. And then I was like, I'll use it Christmas Eve, and I'll use it on the day after Christmas when I stream, and then I'll use it on New Year's Eve. And Twitch was like, yeah, but what if we just gave everybody that last week of it? And it's like, I was gonna do that, and now I've wasted these tickets. Maybe, Dora. It just feels weird, is all. I don't disagree. It's just like, okay. I don't think it's funny because I don't think they needed to do that here. Like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, I can crawl under it anyway. So, Fortnite for this season, the season started out, they have Gen AI in it, which is my sign that, okay, no more money. There's a whole bunch of Gen AI posters and songs and all that added this season. That was the first line of, okay, no more streaming it, no more money, nothing. And now it's fully uninstalled because they've decided to do a collab with Harry Potter. So it is a dead game to me and cannot be redeemed at this point. So it is done. And then I'm still waiting to see if Infinity Nikki fixes their big problem right now, and I don't think they're going to, which means that might be uninstalled soon as well. I'm having trouble even opening the game. Because mentally it's just like, yeah, no, if you're not gonna fix the racism you added to your game that people have loudly spoken about, I can't really open it. I'm less surprised with that one, Yuna, only because it's Monopoly. And Monopoly does branded tie-ins with everything. Like, very specifically. That one doesn't surprise me. But, yeah. I think that one, just because of how broken those sponsorships have been, there is a possibility that I would still promote those, but actively say to not give it money, because the point of those sponsorships is to take money from those groups, because those always end up paying out better than I put in, kind of thing. But yeah. Hey, Milk, how's it going? Happy holidays. But it's a lot. Not well, Milk. I'm having a depression day, a very bad depression day. But I feel worse every time I don't stream. So like I had canceled this morning stream because I wasn't feeling great. And it's like, well, if I cancel another one, I'm gonna feel even worse. So. See, that's the thing with Monopoly, is they will tie in with every brand, every brand humanly possible. So I'm less annoyed with that. I'm still obviously annoyed, and I don't like that they're doing it. But I'm less annoyed with it because it's Monopoly that's already known to work with everything under the sun. It doesn't excuse it, it's just expected. But I'd rather focus on the Yahtzee sponsorship. Which we're almost to $300 on that. What are we sitting at? We are sitting at $277. If you don't know about the Yahtzee sponsorship, you can play Yahtzee. Exclamation point Yahtzee. If you play Yahtzee through that link, I get $4 just by you installing it. I get more the longer you play it, but like I get $4 just from you doing that. So sponsorships are generally how I'm able to do this full time, because I've learned that proper communication about sponsorships is huge, right? I learned what I'm allowed to talk about on the sponsorships. I'm allowed to talk about how much money each thing gets. I'm allowed to be very vocal about where each thing is. I'm able to report the flaws with the sponsorship when things don't track, and that has led to one sponsorship paying over $2,000 just by people downloading it, you know? Yeah, I get that, Yuna. I get that. Honestly, the fact with that door that the energy system is completely free if you're doing, if you're challenging other players. The one trick I would say that makes it really fun, if you beat somebody and they challenge, or if you play against somebody and they challenge you to a rematch, you can then go to their profile and also challenge them. And then you can have 2 games running side by side. And you can basically, if you find somebody who's actively on there, you can just keep playing against that person again and again and again and again and again and go on infinitely. Especially with, I'm pretty sure, at least this happened for me, I think we all get assigned one bot that is just always active. So if you look at like one of the random challenges from a person, it's a bot, and it'll play against you and immediately do its turn, and you can have an infinite game that costs no energy and just go on forever and ever. And I've been dealing with that for a while. I was just like, yeah, nope, this is great. And I do mean immediate. Like, I will have 0 seconds ago when they've already done all 3 rolls and picked a thing. It's like, I know you're a bot. I'm cool with it, though. Yahtzee holds a nostalgia part for me. Because when I was like 5, I used to play with my grandma growing up. So there's just a nostalgia tied to it. It's not a particularly good game, but it does, I think it's a good sign of playing the odds. Like, I feel it's, my general way of playing the game is, aside from the random spot where you can put anything in on it, you typically want to fill in the entire right side before you even touch the left side, because they're harder. And then you get throwaway numbers that you throw away in on the left column, right? And you just basically keep building up those numbers. Never learned cribbage. Cribbage always annoyed me because I could never figure it out. Like, I don't know why I'm losing. I don't understand this game. I am confused. The one card game I want to learn personally is Hanafuda. I would like to learn Hanafuda. Oh, but yeah, no, Milk. In regards to sponsorships, especially if you're doing them through Stream Elements, which are the easiest ones to get, the big thing is, if you look at my info panels, list literally everything. Everything. List it all, like, everything about it that you can, how much you get paid for each goal, what each goal is. Create a channel in your Discord that says, hey, if you're doing it, tell me when you reach the goals so I can track it and make sure it's all tracking. Because if it doesn't track, I can report it at the end and get it fixed. I've had multiple adjustments done by them from my sponsorships that have been over $300 of adjustments because of things stopping tracking and things like that, because it happens. Yeah. Ever since I saw Hanafuda in Summer Wars, I've wanted to learn it. All I know is it makes me want to say koi koi. Koi koi. Try 3 bright. Koi koi. I don't know what the things I'm saying mean. Summer Wars is one of my favorite movies. It's just the Digimon the first movie, but expanded to be a feature-length film instead of half of a movie. Hey, Maple. I tried to explain my headspace, like where I'm at mentally. And it feels weird having to kind of explain how I'm doing right now. But the best way I could describe how I was doing in the Discord is my brain feels like it's in a liminal space. Like it's not there. Like trying to find games to play, all of that. Like I love playing JRPGs, but I understand that the turnout isn't going to be very good on those. A lot of the games I'd like to play are rated 18 up, and I don't stream those out of respect for those who would have to give their ID for it. I don't know. I'm not pleased with it all. I'm just in a weird spot, you know? And I don't know. I don't know. It's just very much a gloomy headspace, you know? Got that. No, you. Why are you being so difficult? Why are you being so difficult? What's your problem? Up there. It's the top lip of it. Okay. Jesus. I don't like these pistons. But yeah, no, I've been overwhelmed today. I took a nap. After I woke up, canceled my morning stream, I laid down. I slept through the entirety of when I would have streamed, really. Got up, turned on Cleo's stream, fell back asleep for another hour and a half. Or another hour. And then kind of woke up. I would bet here with Snow learning how to play Mahjong. Snow learned to play Mahjong fully in order to play it in Final Fantasy XIV in the Golden Saucer. That's my bet. Am I right? I don't know, but that's my bet. Do. It's possible Snow learned elsewhere for other reasons, but it's probably most applicable to Final Fantasy XIV. Also, Milk, you should now have more access to more channels in the Discord. There's just a manual verification that I do of anybody that joins. And I did see you joined. Even though your name was different there. Which is now the same. Though I didn't capitalize it correctly. And I'll need reminded in order to fix the capitalization. Ah, fair snow. Hey, Rose. This also might be a shorter stream tonight, depending on how my brain goes, because I am dealing with. It's really hard to. It's really hard to describe the headspace that I've kind of entered. I'm going to describe it in a way that might resonate with some of you. It's kind of the headspace that your brain will be in when you feel like if you tell some I'm going to go back to school. Back in school when you would tell on somebody who was bullying and you would basically get ignored and you're not mad, you're just sad and kind of feeling like what's the point? That's where my brain's at right now. Is that exact mood. So that's where I'm kind of stuck. Hey, Pluto. But that's why I canceled this morning stream, is because that mood crept in. That feeling of what's the point, and that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I do apologize that my energy levels aren't all there. It might be a shorter stream, but I can't not stream. And tomorrow I have no plans other than Cleo's stream. So I might stream some Christmas movies or something in the Discord. If I can motivate myself to. Like we could watch Jingle All the Way and we could watch Tokyo Godfathers. I don't know what else, but those are. Oh, I could introduce you all to the horrifying movie that is Rover Dangerfield, because that's a Christmas movie. That's a kid's Christmas movie that made me a feminist. That movie is probably the most responsible for my mindset towards people. Yeah, Rover Dangerfield is a movie full of trauma and growing very quickly as a person and learning that some people are just evil. That is no. I don't feel like show dog is an accurate wording of it. Rover Dangerfield is one about a basset hound whose owner is a showgirl who gets kidnapped by her abusive boyfriend and thrown over the side of a dam in a burlap sack and then gets taken in by a family and is just trying to get home. And then he sings a song about never pissing on a Christmas tree. I know that sounds like I just made that shit up, but that is like, anybody who's seen it, that is an accurate description. I believe the lyrics were, never ever would I do it on a Christmas tree. But that movie was kind of my awakening into pure evil people. And anybody who's seen it, I think would agree that having watched that movie when I was about 4 years old might be a little too soon to be watching that movie. I say 4, I don't know how old it was. I've got the DVD next to me somewhere. It's in the stack of DVDs. When did that come out? Rover Dangerfield. 91, yeah. So yeah, no, I could have watched it at 4. That is a Christmas movie. I'm not saying it is a healthy Christmas movie, but I mean, we arguably also have Die Hard, which people call a Christmas movie, and Home Alone, which is a Christmas movie, and Gremlins, which is a Christmas movie. Like, Christmas movies don't have to be happy and joyful. Tokyo Godfathers is about 3 homeless people adopting a baby. Like, that's also not really the best of situations. Like, good writing needs trauma. Jingle All the Way literally has terrorism in it. Like mail bombs. I've never actually seen Gremlins. I watched Critters, which was the knockoff of Gremlins, that starred Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh. If you didn't know that, there's a knockoff of Gremlins called Critters that stars Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm doing a really bad job of cleaning this, and I don't even feel bad about it. Where's my soap nozzle? I don't have, like, the greatest memory on when I watch things, but I know one of the movies that I was allowed to watch when I was younger, and I still want to fight my mom for letting me do this, was American Werewolf in Paris. So whenever that came to DVD or VHS is when I watched it. And I'm gonna be real. I should not have been watching that. Hey, Tropic, how's it going? Happy holidays. We're having a... We're talking about movies we shouldn't have been allowed to watch when we were younger, because I was talking about Rover Dangerfield. That not enough people remember, and how it was very traumatic. But then we're also talking about how, like, we talked about, like, we mentioned Critters is also a Christmas movie and things like that. But Rover Dangerfield is a Christmas movie. And Jingle All the Way is a Christmas movie. And I was talking about possibly showing them on my Discord. I'm in a bleak mood. I'm glad somebody else knows Rover Dangerfield. That movie made me a feminist. That's the main recap. The opening of that movie alone made me a feminist. Yeah, silly ass movie, excluding the opening scene. That I very vividly remember. Ugh. I very, very vividly remember the opening to Rover Dangerfield. Though oddly, Rover Dangerfield is not the movie that gave me the most nightmares growing up. The movie that gave me the most nightmares growing up was Rockadoodle. Rockadoodle gave me the most nightmares. Second place goes to Page Master. Page Master also gave me nightmares, just not as many as Rockadoodle. And I don't know what caused it. I have no idea what caused one of my very specific nightmares that I can, for some reason, vividly remember what I woke up to. I woke up to this mental image of, like, a really horrifying gnome, and I have no idea what caused this. And it's weird that I'm not, like, afraid of... I'm not really afraid of much, like, as far as, like, phobias go. You'd think I'd be afraid of gnomes. But my phobia, the only one I really have a phobia of is, I'm claustrophobic. I'm very claustrophobic. Rockadoo, sunny days. But no. And you'd go, oh, Rockadoodle, was it the owls that gave you nightmares? No, it wasn't the owls. It was the fox. Which, again, is saying so much about my character. I hate capitalism and I hate sexist men. Those are, like, my two biggest hates, and I blame both of those movies for cementing that in my mind. Which, granted, props to both of those movies. Props to both of those movies, because they set me on the right path. But holy... those were some movies with some messages. Unlike movies now that are not as... they're not... movies nowadays aren't as vocal or as blatant about who the bad guy is, and I think that's where we're kind of going wrong with movies now. I'm not saying there aren't good movies about that. I think, like, K-Pop Demon Hunters as a movie did a great job of talking about what the problem is, right? I think it's good that there are ones that are covering topics, and they're being somewhat blatant about these issues, and things like that. But I do find it weird that, like, movies are afraid to be as divisive anymore. K-Pop Demon Hunters is a good commentary on racism, though I feel like a lot of people may still be missing it, because it isn't blatant, but it is very close to blatant. But it's a commentary on racism. Though I will throw in a weird one. That it's like one of my favorite more recent animated movies, Mitchell's vs. the Machines. Fantastic movie. But I'd argue its message isn't the best. Like, it does not have a great application of its themes, right? Because, like, with Mitchell's vs. the Machines, the bad guy is AI and technology being given all this power and blah, 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 and it's about not respecting AI in the end, rather than a commentary on the actual problems with relying on AI and all this stuff, and it's just like, The whole plot ended up being about, like, respecting the AI and phones and blah, 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 blah. Absolutely beautiful movie. One of the best animated movies I've seen in a long time, but it just, like, that's not them. I get the idea. What? I'm not a... It wasn't letting me walk there. It was weird. But no, I think my most watched animated movies growing up were Page Master and Rockadoodle. Rover Dangerfield traumatized me, but that one has stuck with me. I had this old VHS that was recorded in that weird double speed thing, which means the tracking was all fucked up. Like, I don't know if you knew about that. There were ways to record movies in, like, double time, and then the playback would be weird. And you'll get a lot of videos that have, like, this weird tracking thing going on. And I had a collection of, like, 100 cartoons on one VHS, and I watched a lot of Felix the Cat on that, mainly because that was near the beginning of the video, or of the tape, and that was as long as I could really stand to watch everything. I watched a lot of Lion King 1 and 2. I'm gonna be honest, Lion King 2 is better than Lion King 1. See, I think the problem is that when it comes to movies, especially nostalgia movies, a lot of people don't actually rewatch those movies. We are cleaning a giant dump truck. But Lion King 2, I feel like handled itself a lot better than Lion King 1, and also did a good job of commenting on, like, the fact that, like, with Lion King 2, in Lion King 2, or in Lion King 1, one of the big issues with Lion King 1 is that we were villainizing a lot of people without full understanding. Scar totally was shitty, and I'm not going to disagree there, but Scar had, like, no character in the first one. Lion King 2 gave him backstory that we never had, other than, oh, evil uncle, who wanted to be king himself and was told he couldn't have it, but then it's like... But he also was trying to protect others that were shunned, and, yeah, there's a lot. Lion King 2 was very, very, very good. And I think a lot of that's important. We also, I think one of the interesting things too with Lion King 2 is, because if I remember correctly, we don't know who Kovu's dad actually is, or was, like, biological dad. We only know that he was raised, and Scar was treated as his dad, so we don't know all that. But I also like how that's in there, because, like, yeah, no, they're not cousins, we swear, was kind of the thing. But it's like, most lion prides are kind of inbred. It's we get it. But no, it was just one of those things of like, But they wrote in stuff like that, and it was really interesting. I could have done, I think, without Andy Dick's character. Andy Dick's character probably doesn't need to be in Lion King 2, but that's a separate conversation. There was a lack of real conversation about the hyenas. I mean, I know they touched on it. But it felt like it was very glossed over. Hey, Wim. But, like, I think it really brought to light this idea of... It basically came down to what was racism in the Pride Lands. And I think commenting on the fact that they were going to let an entire group of people suffer says a lot about Simba. And it's like, yeah, no, Simba never really had an upbringing. But I don't like that. It is confusing that Simba decided to grow up and become an asshole. Simba grew up, became an asshole, took his daughter, convincing him otherwise. But it's like, did Timon and Pumbaa teach you nothing? And, like, why are Timon and Pumbaa weird? Like, there are 100% flaws in the storytelling, because I feel like a lot of them... I feel like what it did was it was a commentary on people being challenged on their views, was a lot of what Lion King 2 established. Which, awkwardly here, Lion King 1.5 is also really, 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 really good, and I advise people watch it. I know a lot of people ignored it because it was a prequel and all that, but Lion King 1.5 was actually really good. Lion King 1 is the worst of the trilogy. Lion King 1 is the worst of the trilogy. And it's weird to say. But I would also like to argue Lion King 1.5 should actually be called Lion King Half. Because it takes place during 1, not after 1. And I think the naming is weird. Because, like, 1.5 would mean it takes place after 1. Lion King 1.5 takes place in the middle of Lion King 1. So it should maybe be like... Let's give it a rename. It's Lion King 1 with the other bits. But no, it's... What was it? There was a... I can't remember what... Every Lion King is based on... There's a second and there's a middle bit to the first one that got made later. So there's not a third Lion King unless you count the animated series The Lion Guard, I guess would be maybe Lion King 3. It probably has some TV movie. I never watched The Lion Guard. I can't really comment on The Lion Guard. I'm very confused by the lion having a cutie mark, and that's all I'm going to say on that. But no, like what Lion King 1 was Macbeth? Was it Macbeth or Hamlet? I think it was Macbeth, right? Lion King 1 was Macbeth. I'm not good at Shakespeare. I'm not good with Shakespeare. So please feel free to tell me which Shakespeare it is. I could be entirely wrong here. Lion King 1, I believe, was Macbeth, though. It was Hamlet? Okay, my bad. Hamlet. And then Lion King 2 was Romeo and Juliet. Though arguably without the children actually being wrong, it's Romeo and Juliet if the kids were in the right. Because in Romeo and Juliet, the kids were actually idiots. Well, there is a bit, Finn, in Lion King 2 where it is commented that Scar did have kids, but Kovu wasn't one of them. Kovu just wasn't one of them. Kovu was adopted out of it and taken in elsewhere. And I guess they wanted to use that anger of not fitting in as a way to manipulate him into thought. It's whatever. But no, and then Lion King 1.5 was The Sound of Music? Partially, I think it was. Am I thinking of the right thing? I think Lion King 1.5 was, like, weirdly Sound of Music. No, Fiddler on the Roof. It was Fiddler on the Roof. Not Sound of Music, Fiddler on the Roof. Reference the wrong thing. Just like, what the heck? As a jump. But Lion King 1.5 is very heavily focused on Timon and Pumbaa. Mainly Timon. Been a while since I've seen it, though. So memories are lacking. I just remember it was better. It didn't get the attention it deserved. And I think it's strictly because of the name. Just because there was, what was it? There was that one post going on. Were there Odysseys before Odysseus was the one post? And somebody replied, what were poems called before Edgar Allan Poe? I was just like, Yeah, poems after Edgar... Well, not poem, poetry. Poetry is after Edgar Allan Poe. And then poem is after poetry. But yeah, no, Edgar Allan Poe is the origin of poetry as a term. Did you just think that was a coincidence, Finn? Well, and that's like the thing. Odysseys, long stories, are named after the Odyssey, which would be named after Odysseus in the Odyssey. But Odysseus was not an original character. Odysseus was a character of folklore, and then more stories were added to make it an Odyssey, and that's a whole thing. And yeah, no. I'm starting to learn. I think my viewers have migrated from my morning streams. Y'all are here in the afternoons now, which I appreciate. It's just funny. I don't like this level. I just want to be clear here. I'm already hating this level. Oh, yeah, a new carnival thing I don't care about. Now we get to ride on this thing that doesn't have an interact button to get on. I hate this thing. I hate this thing so much. What I like in that note though, Mello, is I know English is a funny language, but I really love when other languages adapt English into their language. Because then you've taken a word that's bases in one language, and you've taken it and merged it into another language, and just making it even funnier and weirder, right? Like the best example I can think of is like Japanese, like ice cream becoming isokrimu, and it's like it gets really fun that way when you start adapting English into Japanese. You get really fun ones because it's like, I feel like we could have just named this something. One of my favorites is, and it's not English, it would be German in this one. But it would be hamburgers, right? Hamburger is specifically what they call hamburger in Japanese is hamburger steak, which is arguably Salisbury steak, which is our equivalent of German hamburgers. But it's hamburger steak, and it's hamburger suteku, and it's like, okay, or suteki, and it's just like, I hate this thing so much. Stop kicking me off. Yeah, it like I love like languages and doing stuff like that. Yeah, salaryman and things like that. It's fun. Like I love that chaos of it. What I really find funny is watching anime and reading the subtitles, but they'll use a clearly like English-based word, and you'll hear it, and it's nowhere to be found in the subtitles because they've decided to reword it. And it's usually things like, "Oh no," and they'll write something like they'll actually say "Oh no" in shock, or they'll say "Hi" in English, and they'll translate it as something else. And it's like, why did you change that? What happened here? Why did this get changed in your translation? You're translating an English word to English, and you got it wrong. I don't... It does feel very human when they do that, though, which is nice. It is not to say that translators are not human, but things like that throw me. Especially, like, because I know some Japanese, like, not a lot, but I know some Japanese, so when I hear things, and it's like, that's not what they said. That's not what they said. You've just decided they said something else. I know what they said. What are you doing? Language is fun. Door, that's only because you're awake. Then you'd be the loudest one snoring. I'm kidding, but it seemed like the proper response. I am glad I do not have a traveling family for the holidays. Because I hate sleeping around other people. One thing that, so here's a fun thing that's actually going to be killing me during my family's thing. My family is having their Christmas on Saturday because my grandma had surgery yesterday. And we want to give her time to at least baseline recover before having to deal with a lot of people. So we've delayed it. I think we should have delayed it entirely, like in an extra week, not a few days, but... But... It's... Because it's on Saturday and I get my new PC on Friday, at least if everything stays on schedule, I'm going to be at a family thing wanting to work on my computer. And it's just like, Like, part of my brain wants to go, hey, can I, bring my new computer over so I can work on it? Have a good one, Moke. I appreciate you hanging. The paint on the metal has texture, I'm assuming you mean? Yeah, they did a good job adding a little bit of a texture map onto everything. Yeah, you can see the flecking. I think it's flecking of it. Yeah, you can see all the little... This is also why it is important to stream with proper bitrate. For other streamers that may be listening, you don't need 60 FPS when you stream because nobody viewing is going to notice. They're mostly lurking. Put your bitrate up to 7,500. Drop your frame rate down to 30 FPS, and your 1080p stream will look great. Nobody's paying enough attention that they'll notice 60 FPS on a stream. They're lurkers. 30 FPS, 1080p, 6K minimum upload. Do 7.5K if you can, or use enhanced broadcasting mode, which will do it for you. That's my opinion on it. Obviously, opinions are going to change. People have different opinions for whether or not you should use 60 FPS. I don't see a point to it. And nobody has explained why they need 60 FPS on a stream. Oh, it looks smoother. No one's paying enough attention. I'm sorry. There's no viewer paying enough attention to your stream that 60 FPS is worth the lower quality. Because 60 FPS is going to be about half the detail of 30 FPS. That's my opinion on that. Because you get half the quality if you double the frame rate. Because your bit rate is the amount of data you are sending per second. If you are sending twice as many frames, that is half as much data per frame. Oh, I'm sorry, Door. I know that annoyance way too well. But, yeah. I've had people legit, like, argue about... I've had people argue that you should be upscaling your stream. Do it in 720, then upscale your stream. The quality loss is minimal. No! Granted, the most absurd thing I heard today... I legit had somebody say this today. Because I came across a TikTok where somebody was saying how They were starting streaming, and the hardest part for them is talking to a chat that's not there. And somebody had commented saying, "Whoever told you that is a liar. You don't need to do that." And it's like, what? What? No, talking to nobody is an important part of starting your streaming, because people are not going to hang if you're not talking when they arrive. Most people are not going to say hi to a silent streamer. They're going to sit there, be annoyed that they just watched a bunch of ads, and then leave. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. A lot of times people are not going to see your stream, and that's fine. That's not an issue. Like, I would bet 90% of all viewers are lurkers. They're not lurkers in the literal sense of they're not directly watching your stream. Your stream exists, they are listening. They will look during serious moments, but I'd rather give you higher quality for those glances than lower quality at a lower resolution, you know? Make your stream look nicer. Make sure your canvas size is the same as your output size, so you're not scaling. So you're not reducing quality there. Like, I expect to be basically audiobook mode. And that's as somebody who focuses mainly on making interesting, like, visuals, right? Like, that's my whole thing, is doing interesting overlays and creating special visual effects. And it's like, no, 90% of you aren't watching me. You're listening. The door, I know it's not what you meant, but I'm reading that, and I'm just like, so you want a fat ass. Because that's what massive dumper means, is fat ass. Nice door. I also have a booty. Somewhat of a booty. Not a massive booty, but a booty, nonetheless. Ugh. Okay. But no, I get sad. I go to stream sometimes and they'll be like, it's a 60 FPS stream, and it's like, you're running at 3K bitrate. Don't do 60 FPS. Please don't do 60 FPS. You got all these screen filters going on. You're running 60 FPS, and you're not even you don't have the bitrate to be doing 60 FPS. I think part of the problem is, at least to my understanding, OBS, when you first install it, tries to default to 60 FPS. Don't do it. If you're not getting at least 6K bitrate, do not do 60 FPS. It's not worth it. At all. It gets really funny when I see it on retro streams. Like, streamers who very specifically play lower res ones is like, the game doesn't even run at more than 28 FPS, and you're like, gotta do 60. Like, this doesn't. Ah, that's what was... Whenever you try to clean things at this weird angle, Do 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 do. I love the upper left one. You're cleaning the tire. Like, yeah, that's totally what I'm pointing at right now. The thing that gets me is that is very clean, arguably. Out here it's not. Okay, that's what's stopping me. Got it. I despise Webtoon. And I hope more I hope more webcomic artists start using or hosting their own stuff, or at least using something like NeoCities. And just learn to make a site. I did share a thing on Blue Sky a while back. There's a Kickstarter for this site that wants to make an open source webcomic network thing to help comic artists actually put stuff on their own site more easily. I don't remember who I shared, but it's really cool that they're doing that. Because the one Webtoon API thing that exists is very outdated. It needs work, and they want to create a whole, like, new, more modern one. I just don't think any artist should be on Webtoons because they're locked in. Basically, they have to do... Webtoon keeps, like, hiring people or, like, sponsoring certain ones, and then they aren't allowed to leave that, even if they want to stop working with Webtoon. There's, like, a 3-year gap that you have to... Like, it's a 2 or 3 year gap you have to do between it. If OBC were here, I know OBC knows the details on that a bit more, because OBC was an avid user, but they're super, like, AI heavy now, and having locked people in, and yeah. Anyway, Webtoons is not a good company. Basically, they had shifted, like, owners, and they went very AI focused, and on top of AI focus, they basically got to this point of creating, like, AI comic generators on their site. And to my understanding, it trains off of the comics that are on the site. And it's a whole thing. Oh, I'm sorry, Dor. Oh, Blue Sky may get a lot of more artists now. Apparently, like, all of Japanese Twitter is leaving for Blue Sky today, which is great. Welcome back, Finn. And a lot of artists in general are finally leaving Twitter, and I have a good feeling we're going to start seeing businesses leave. Though what I'm expecting, and I'm calling it now, people with gold stars or gold check marks on Twitter are going to be able to opt out of the AI stuff, and no one else. Maybe blue checks will get to as well, but the gold checks are probably going to be the starting thing, because otherwise they're going to open themselves up to major lawsuits from all these companies that are posting stuff, because otherwise companies are going to stop sharing things. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's like 2 or 3 years that they're not allowed to post it anywhere else because Webtoons owns the rights, so they gotta post it elsewhere. But they can't post it until their thing is, or Webtoon will get very litigious. Hey, Melody. Yeah, no, I think it's based on when they last post on it, Door, which is the thing. So they have to go radio silent. How's it going, Melody? I'm in a low mental health spot right now, so I do apologize if my excitement is a bit low. Brain is braining and not in the good way. So, but we're here. We're talking about webcomics and artist exoduses and people coming to Blue Sky and all that. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. For those who may have just come by or may have been lurking this whole time, if you didn't know, when you drop me a follow, it puts a little gold star on the border of my screen, so you can theoretically fill that up. If you sub, you get a pride themed one. I'm not saying people have to sub, but yeah, they can't. I'm not sure what the full restrictions are. I know there was one artist that was really hard for me to find. It took me ages to actually track them down. That did the same, but it was because they had changed their name as well. So they kept posting on other platforms, couldn't post anything related to their old account, and used a different name, but I managed to figure out it was them. And it was just like, Jesus. So yeah, I don't know how aggressive Webtoons is with things, but I have a feeling it's pretty serious when it comes to their stuff. Anything that they can connect to, you basically can't reference. Yeah, Webtoons, I would argue, originally I don't think it was a problem, but I think we need to go back to the days, and I still have a favorites list of webcomics, of just going to individual webcomics websites, having your favorites list, and sorting what days they update their comic. And just be like, okay, here is my favorites tab for webcomics, and then each of these tabs is the days they update. All the ones that update on Monday are favorited here, all the ones that update Tuesday, favorited here, and you just mark each one, and then you click on those that day, you open all your tabs, and there you go. Not this whole mess of going to one site and go, well, here's all my updates. Like, no. Go to their sites. You also give them more money when you go to the sites because they likely have ads on their own site showing off their stuff. And then they get all of the revenue from that and not just a small bit. Like, they also have more control over their stuff. And they can do brand deals and sponsorships, and it's easier for them to get a published comic someday if it's all on their own site. But yeah, no. More people need to handle their own sites. For those of you who don't know, you can go to like NeoCities and start your own website at no cost. There's no mess there. And if you really want to, you can even set NeoCities as your Blue Sky username, so you can actually learn to embed your URL onto a Blue Sky thing. So if you wanted your webcomic on a specific NeoCities site, you could do that. So you can be very professional. Just use NeoCities. NeoCities is entirely free, unless you go over like a certain amount of traffic. So if you start actually getting popular, which then you'd be making enough where you could pay for it, kind of situation. Like NeoCities is free. There's probably also like an image or file amount limitation too, but yeah. Use NeoCities. I have one. I host one thing on my NeoCities, and that is my paper texture. That is the only thing I host on NeoCities is my paper texture. But that's on there. For anybody that wants a really cool paper texture. I should have put it in a folder, but... No! I fell. I think we've already hit the annoying part of this one. Because now it's all these like little bits and bobs, and I don't want to do them. I don't want to do them. Ugh. Ugh. Sorry, my brain is not entirely there today. I've had a very rough one. You get those mental health days where things just don't quite add up. But yeah, I'm running into an issue where I don't feel like I have anything to play, which is sad, because I have plenty of games, but I don't feel like there's anything that y'all want to watch me play, or that I should start playing. Like, I could play Uncharted, right? And I think people would tune in for it, but I don't feel like I should start that if I'm going to have a new PC, so I'm at a weird spot there. Close. NeoCities. Cities. But yes. I think it's .org. Been in my favorites, so I don't need to actually manually do it. But yeah, NeoCities has been around for decades. And they're also a good spot to learn HTML and learn how to do that. You could also go to websites and just get like an HTML website template. You could do a search for like, oh, hey, can I get an HTML template for running or like a website template so I could do webcomics, and be like, here you go, or an art gallery HTML template, and I'm sure they're all over GitHub. Though I know people are leaving GitHub for another site, and I cannot remember the name of the other site, so if anybody knows the name of the GitHub alternative, I need to favorite that just so I can track that better. But people are mad at the owner of GitHub for being an AI douche. Yeah, no, I think the best thing people can do, I think right now, if you're trying to do webcomics, and this is coming from somebody who does not do webcomics. I am speaking as a reader, not as a creator. But make your own website. Encourage people to favorite the website and go back through that. Share your comics, or share like if you're doing, say, like your standard webcomics, which are typically like your newspaper comics that have like 3 or 4 strips on it, or 3 or 4 cells. Make a bonus cell for people who are on the website. They'll go to the website. They'll check that out. They'll go for that bonus stuff. Learn about banner ads, and then you can do banner ads with those sites and get paid that way as well. That way you can just have a little banner ad on your website that loads up when people go and visit and does nothing else. And you make a little bit of money off of it, but like, just put it on your own site, give people a reason to be there. When you post it, mention that there is a bonus panel on the site, link to the site, and recommend people like subscribe. If you get really good, learn how to do RSS feeds. RSS feeds were huge for webcomics in the mid to late 2000s. Basically, it's a method that would actually send an update to people's device and say, hey, there's a new post on this thing. They don't even need to check things, but yeah, no, NeoCities is NeoCities is HTML based for the most part, which means it's gonna run the way sites ran in the mid 2000s, which is all you need. It just won't let you run Flash on it because Adobe decided to kill Flash because they hate people. I'm really shocked that we haven't run into a proper like Flash alternative. I know we have like Flash emulators, but like, I'm shocked we don't have a program that does what Flash does. Now I understand that games can be made in HTML5, which is technically why we don't, but I would love a thing that worked that way. Hey Fox. Fox! You're a good person on this. How loudly can you complain about webtoons? Yeah, like the platform. You're a comic artist. I feel like you have complaints for it. Oh yeah, I'm sure Flash has too many vulnerabilities, but that's a sign to fix the vulnerabilities, not just shut it down. Like, fix your program. You know? Like, care about the thing you make. I'm not disagreeing it had vulnerabilities, but the decision to shut it down instead of fix it is just... I feel embarrassing. Well, the big thing for me is the big main complaints are that any of their sponsored comics aren't allowed to leave or continue their stories for multiple years. The feeding things to AI, the ability to write AI via their own comic system. Those are via their own AI system that they have to write comics with AI. But I was explaining that, like, more people need to get to the point of spending the time to actually learn to make their own website, put it on NeoCities. Put it on NeoCities. Learn basic templates. Get NeoCities and take the time to do it. It's worth it. Like, it's worth it. But yeah, no, see, there was a reason I was saying that you'd be a good one to comment on this, because it's like, I feel like you have direct experience with this. I can only speak as a consumer, but, well, I wouldn't say NeoCities is ugly. I mean, having your own site, that's on you. NeoCities is fine. Your site's only going to look as good as you make it, right? So learning HTML is a good skill to get, and learning web design. Or maybe you have a friend that does web design and you can collab with them, kind of situation. But that's a separate thing. But I was saying, like, one of the best things you can do if you have like a panel, like a 4-panel based comic, is divide those panels up, do like the 4 on the main one, and add some sort of bonus related thing to it on the website. And then direct people there from, like, your socials. You post the main thing on your socials so that it gets spread there, and you add the extra strip on your website, and then people go to the website and they get the whole thing if they want it. If they're big fans, they'll go, and then you learn to set up RSS feeds so that way people can get updates that way if they want. Yeah, like that's the big thing, is like you just gotta spend the time and get the right people on the right projects, work together on it, and go back to the ways of the internet in 2005. It sounds silly to say, but I legit mean it. Like, internet 2005, like, it was more open and more about your own stuff. But yeah, like, XKCD is still going strong. XKCD, one of the most basic possible websites out there, still going strong on its comics. Like, every day. Mismap's still going strong, and they're all just privately hosted bits. And it works, and yeah. And you can start out with NeoCities, and then when you're done with that, and here's the big thing: if you ever want to leave NeoCities, you can download the entire thing in one click, or, well, like 1 or 2 clicks. You can download the entirety of NeoCities, of your NeoCities page, and then you just drag and drop that to your new sites thing in the same folder structure, and it'll transfer right over, and then you don't lose anything. You don't lose anything. It just transfers all in one, and you just change the direct URL, and you're good. as long as the URLs you give it are structured correctly, because this is an important thing to learn with HTML. When you're linking to another page on the same website, don't type out the entire URL. Unless you've already applied a custom URL to the site. Do not do the entire URL. You only really want to do like the everything after the slash. Arguably even less if you can, but you want to be as organized as possible. And I do mean it when I say take your time and learn to do like same site redirects. Rather than doing an entire URL, it'll save you a headache later. Oh, I'm sorry, Dor. But at least you know you're loved. Eh. But yeah, no, don't use webtoons if you can avoid it. Take the time. Take the time, just make the comics, do all that stuff, and then work on hosting it on something like NeoCities that doesn't try to feed all your stuff into an algorithm. Make a special account on Blue Sky so that way you can tie your URLs and stuff onto that. You can bind the URL, make the comic, share the comic from your main account, share it from the other one, learn to use keywords, do the alt text properly for your post, because that'll help it. Just take the time. Take the time. There's plenty of little follow lists and stuff as well that are for webcomics, that like the starter packs and private feeds that are just for webcomic stuff, and you could apply to be on those. And I'm just saying there's options, and avoid webtoons if you can. Yeah, that's one of those things too. You definitely want to have it, and also probably like download your website to your computer on its own thing, you know, once a month maybe. So that way you have a backup on your own local machine. Hey, Toko. But yeah, just I think that's one of the big things, and I know it's like it's work, right? I'm not gonna deny that it's like this level of work that people may not be fully aware of, but I'm gonna be real, like the habit of working on a website when I used to have my own, because I used to run a Neopets tip website. Gotta be completely honest here. I used to run a Neopets tip website. And I did for like 2 or 3 years. And it's not that hard. The setup takes a while, but if you want to do it, you'll do it, right? But what's funny is I've met people that have used my Neopets tip site, and I didn't have a lot of traffic. It didn't do great. I think I maybe got 300, 400 visits a month. Like, it wasn't great, but it was like strategy guides for different things, best probability in stuff like the scratch cards, things like that, right? It was just standard like tip guides and stuff, but I got like 500 views a month, which is pretty cool because I made it when I was 14. but I had talked about it. I had mentioned it passingly in one of Mother Lyra's streams, and apparently Lyra was one of my visitors. Though it is entirely possible Lyra is thinking of the wrong site. But it is what it is. Because I created mine. I created mine when Jelly World came into existence. So when Jelly World was added to Neopets is when I made my website, because it was called Jelly World. And I know Jelly Neo is the popular one, so I assume a lot of times people are thinking about Jelly Neo if they hear about mine. But Jelly World was mine that I had run. ADHD brain couldn't keep in that addiction for more than 2 years, though. When it was costing money that wasn't even mine that was being spent on it, you know? I also had this issue in high school. I took a web design class. And I think it was one of the sad beginnings to the end for me with my passion in web design. Is the web design, they were teaching us how to use a program that was more drag and drop doing web design and not actually teaching us HTML or anything. And it just killed my drive to do it. It killed all of my drive. Because we weren't learning what I signed up for. Like, I signed up to learn HTML and learn web design, and I was being taught a drag and drop program made by, I think it was by Adobe. I was being taught that, and it's like, this isn't what I'm here for. I want to learn to make websites. I don't want to learn to use somebody else's program that does the work for me. Teach me code. And I think that pushed me away from doing more code just because it wasn't. Yeah, it'd be like going to do an art class and then they teach you, like going to an art class, learn how to paint, and then they teach you how to use fucking Gen AI. Like, that's not why I'm here. I wanted to learn to make something, and you're like, yeah, but this thing can do it for you. It's like, then I'm not learning to do it. And it killed me. It killed my passion on it. And I was 14, 15 when this happened. Just to be clear on that. Like, I was 14, 15. You're not gonna get me to be, like, super excited. Whee! Where is it? You. So I'm supposed to do this. Right? Yep. I pay attention to the achievements. The achievement was to use this and clean one of the spinning floor tiles with the floor washer. Which is like a really, really boring achievement. Ugh. But yeah, no. So I lost a lot of motivation, and honestly, I'm mad about it because I would probably be a lot further in my desire to do game design. I would be a lot further in everything design-wise if I wasn't basically kind of influenced to think that there was no reason for me to bother learning code because programs will do it. Like, it basically put me in a spot of why bother? Why do this when a program can? And if that's the mindset of somebody who was supposed to teach me how to do it, it just killed that, you know? I don't think she was qualified to teach it. I don't think she was qualified to be teaching computer classes. She apparently, like, did a lot of, like, other business-related things that were related to computer stuff, but It seemed like she was all about using shortcut tools rather than like actually learning what goes on behind them, which is what I had signed up for. And it's like, that's not teaching me. Like, we were being taught the most basic of basic crap. Like, I think the extent of what we really got to was like, how to add bold, how to add italics, how to do this. And it's like, you never even taught in that class how to, literally, it was never taught in that class how to create a hyperlink. That wasn't, highlight the text and click this box and it'll turn it into a hyperlink for you. And it was just like, ugh. We were in charge of running the school's websites, and I very, very strongly remember knowing I was the best at it in my class, based on one simple thing. We were all in charge of our own web pages, and on the one web page, I was supposed to put all these names in, and make them and make these names kind of appear at the top as a banner thing. And it's like, I couldn't get it to fit in a nice way without making it smaller, and like, making it smaller would have just been like a bad choice. So I made it a marquee. There was no marquee thing built into the program. I went into the HTML editor part of that program and manually made it a marquee because I knew how. And it confused the shit out of the teacher. And that was the moment I was just done. Hyperlink is the term for a link in general. Hyperlink is the actual full name of a website link. So the less than a space href equals quotation mark URL quotation mark greater than text you want to say less than /a greater than is a hyperlink. Proud of myself that that's still embedded in my brain. But yeah, I made a marquee, and it confused the hell out of the teacher that I did it. It's like, I'm sure you know how to do it, but I'm mad that you don't think that we can learn that. People who sign up for a web design course want to learn web design. We don't want to learn a program to do it for us. Granted, this is the same teacher who thought covering up our keyboard with a piece of paper to stop us from, I'm sorry. This is the same teacher who did our typing class. And she thought people were cheating by copy pasting the thing to make it so that they were typing faster on our tests. Like she had just assumed that we were like copying the text, pasting the text to get a better score. Not realizing you don't need a mouse to use a keyboard. I can copy paste with Control-C and Control-V if I want to. You taking the mouse doesn't stop me. It's one of those moments where you get a teacher that you feel like the teacher is treating you like you're an idiot. I don't think it was that she was unqualified. I think she thought we were idiots, is the thing. It's not that she was unqualified to teach. It was that she didn't think that we were smart. Right? So it was one of those like it was treating us like we were new to computers, and it's like, I'm in your typing class and your web design class. I'm only taking the typing class because it's a prerequisite for the other class, but I'm allowed to take them at the same time. Which was weird, but I was allowed to take them same time. I just had to have them both on my schedule in order for it to be allowed. But it was just like, you're treating us like we're idiots, and that was what like annoyed me. Like, because we were freshmen in high school, right? And she had a computer job. I think she worked 2 jobs, honestly. I think she had a part-time computer computer like tech job. I don't know what her tech job was, but I believe she had a second job outside of the school that was related to computers. But it was just like, this is, if you have an interest in computers at all, she should assume you know more than what she was. And that's kind of the thing that made me despise her. Because it felt like she didn't think that we should know standard computer stuff on our own because she didn't teach us. And it's like, I'm self-taught. Like, everything I know about computers, I was not taught by anyone. Like, I learned 0 things in that class. And that still kills me. I learned nothing in that class for computers. But yeah, it's, and it was like, I'm not claiming to know a lot about computers or a lot about web design or things like that. But the fact that I'm pretty sure I knew more about web design than she did, and she was teaching it, and I was a freshman that was self-taught on web design, is really bad. Right, and like that, like that's one of those things. Like, I'm not good at programming. I need to learn programming. I want to learn Python. I've downloaded a phone app to help me learn Python. And I'm hoping it's not Gen AI based like boot.dev is. Boot.dev can go fuck itself. As far as I can tell, these are pre-planned ones. The only AI in it is checking my answers, which is technically basic AI debug checking. So I'm hoping, but I'm not certain yet. But I'm trying to learn Python and just doing daily tasks similar to how Duolingo worked before it was bullshit. But yeah, it killed a lot of the passion, and I'm hoping the new computer and everything will help me be able to do that, because I do want to work on my game. I have plans for a game. I want to work on it. I also want to use it to maybe like as a practice thing, maybe make my VTuber game show in it. Right? Like make my VTuber game show thing that I want to do, and make that in a game program using code, make that, and then use that as my stepping off stone. But I want to make a game in a way that I can make the base game, but have things in it like graffiti and random radio stations and things like that. And then all of those can have like stickers on walls and things like, I'm getting to this, Fox. I want to get to like stickers on walls and things like that as little references. And I want to have all of those stickers and stuff on the walls be submissions from my friends and things like that that I can put on there, and then make it so that like when you look at it, you can like analyze it and it'll say who the artist is, right? And have that, and then like if I have music that's submitted by friends who make music, I can have it say every time the track starts playing in the corner, like mine is here, it can pop up with the name of the artist in the song. And it's like, I'm not expecting it to be a profitable thing, but I will say this, I wouldn't be able to pay the people submitting this stuff unless the music ends up on a soundtrack, and then those people I could pay out of everything from the soundtrack. But if it somehow got popular and made money, you know, I'm gifting that money to the people who submitted stuff. You know, like I'm giving money back kind of situation. But it's just one of those, like, I'm not expecting to get anywhere. Like, I'm not expecting all of my connection to do stuff. Like as great as it would be, and just because I talk to him occasionally, I don't expect like C418 to submit music, right? I'm gonna ask if he wants to. I ain't gonna pay for it. I don't got the money to pay C418. I can message him and go, "Hey, Daniel, you want to make a song for me?" I go like, "What are you paying?" Like, I got no money. I'm broke. I just figured I'd ask, right? But like, I'm sure like I can get Ellie in on it. I can probably get like Orchestereo in on it and get people to be like, "Yeah, sure." And here's this, and just screw around, no requirements, do your own thing, and just have fun, you know? And that's kind of the thing. But I wanna just try and basically give a, for those who don't have any game design credits or don't have like a lot of visibility, I want to be able to give more visibility to those people. And I don't have a budget. I don't have money. I'm barely able to buy myself food, right? So releasing a game and trying to pay people well for that stuff, it has to be voluntary. And I will repay people afterwards, but I can't like pay them to do it, you know? It's just not feasible. And I'm not going to do like, oh, I'm doing a Kickstarter campaign for blah, blah. Like, no, I just want to support, I want to support my friends who deserve to have those credits and things and give them something to go, yeah, I worked on this and my stuff's in there and check this out, and do like references to like, do Easter eggs for friends who have made games and be like, yeah, this is actually a reference to this game that one of my friends made, and this is a reference to this thing, and I don't know. But I wanna at least start over the next year. I want to start on getting the hang of Godot when I get the new computer. I'll be working on Godot. I'm gonna start by trying to make basically a working Jeopardy board, where I can easily fill in the questions, do the animation to have the text pop out with the question, have it toggle over to the answer, things like that, right? And just work that as my starting thing. But then I want to transition into slowly moving my entire overlay into Godot, right? And make it so like my entire stream, aside from the game I am streaming, is one source in Godot that is running and doing all this stuff. I may redo stream avatars and make my own stream avatars that's on that. And then after that, actually work on making a 3D world that I can explore and then make that into a level and really make something. And it's like, oh, I know this. I gotta go. Do I go the other way? Oh, do I gotta hit these? There we go. I knew there was a trophy there. But yeah, I do like, I'm not gonna lie, I do feel guilty that I want to be able to pay people outright, but it's like, I'm nobody, right? I'm nobody on the internet. I don't have the funds to do that. So it's just like, that's kind of it. But if the game is successful and does well, like I said, I'm going back and I'm paying everybody who took part. Like everybody who submitted art for it, I would pay as thank you, count it as a commission piece, whatever, and double whatever they're charging if I have it and pay that, you know, and go on to the next one, double whatever they were charging, pay them that, and go, thank you, I appreciate it. Because, like, none of it would be the focus, right? It would just be, like, here's little references, here's little things. But, you know, you can only do, like, so much, right? And I'd rather have things that are created by real artists and people I know are gonna put their heart into it, and rather than fill things up with stuff that's all by me and doesn't have that meaning. Because like, I've met so many wonderful people over the years, and I will reach out to friends I have not spoken into in a decade for this. I will spend the time and reach out to people I have not spoken to since I was playing Second Life and go, hey, I'm making a game. Here's a quick video of what I've done. Do you want to submit anything for it? It will reference whatever social you want it to, or it can use your real name if you want it to. I'm going to reach out to friends from college, see if they want to do something for it. And I will grab every cool artist that I know and just be like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? It's like, you'll get your name in the credits every time that loads, which I would hope to have it like randomly pick the different like stickers and stuff that would be all over the environment. Every time it loads, if they look at it and inspect it, it'll say your name, whatever social you give it, or if you want it to have your website or your name, whatever you want it to have, I will put that on there. And I think what's fun about doing that as a design thing is, like, I could just add names to it anytime. Like, we added like 10 more stickers. I was just like, what? It's like, yep, 10 more stickers added to the game. It's like, yeah, I would just do that, right? Like, that's the fun. Like, you don't need to do... I think that's one of the things that gets me is a lot of games are trying to do like, oh, here's a big update. It's like, no. My update is going to be adding more random shit that and not even saying what specifically it is. Like, added new art by these names, and that's the whole patch note. Hopefully design it in a way, though, that, like, it wouldn't break mods, because I want to design it in a method that's similar to web phishing and Atlas and stuff, where people are, like, able to easily mod it and stuff, and it's like, all it's doing is adding files to a library with a name attached that it's decided to create the piece for. That's it. Like... That's the thing, is like I want to make a stable game that works and does what it's meant to. The only ones that might break mods would be if I add, like, I think that's one of those things, like, the idea would be mainly make a thing that doesn't break most mods, unless people are being weird. Have a good one, Yuna. Thank you for hanging. But yeah, like, a lot of mods, if you're not changing the code to your game, you should be good. Like, if I have, like, a folder that is, like, here's all the models for creatures that it access. Like, there's just new ones to access. You can't connect with somebody who doesn't have the update. But, like, I'm not going to change, like, file structure, right? If I don't have to. Hopefully. I don't know how hard that would be, but I feel like it shouldn't be that hard if you're planning around it. And maybe at there's certain points, like, sorry, this one will break mods or whatever. Not intended, but here you go. It's kind of like how most Minecraft mods in 1.20.1 or 1.21.1 are still working. Like, they're fine, even though they keep updating the game. It's like, as long as you're not touching certain files, you're good. I think part of it is because Minecraft has been obfuscated, and they won't be. That maybe that'll be lesser, but I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with mods once they stop obfuscating the mod stuff. Should be interesting. But yeah, like, doing patch notes that are just added a bunch of artwork. Oh, cool. Like, that's all I want, right? Like, I just want to keep doing shouts for people and going, here's new art by these people. Find it in the game. Like, I'm not going to put the art in the patch notes. I'm just going to say added new art by these people and find it. Because that's fun, right? Like, you want to give people a reason to explore and a reason to keep checking out the game. Because I've talked about what I want to do for a game many times, if you've hung out here before. But basically, I want to create a game that's like web fishing meets Katamari. Which sounds like a weird combo, but web fishing meets Katamari. Where the whole idea is you're just going around, the entire point of the game is to chill with your friends and collect moss. And then you can trade the moss in for tokens that you can use on a gacha machine or a gachapon and collect random cosmetics. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's all I want. And if you're wondering how it's Katamari based, I could probably make it an edible thing, Fox. It would cost you technically currency to do that, but like, why not? So fishing's kind of a weird thing. I've always wanted to do this as a thing, and I know it's gonna sound really odd, but I want to make a weird fishing minigame, and I've wanted to do this for years because I had an idea for an Animal Crossing space-themed game I wanted to do way, way back. And I've always had this idea of taking the Animal Crossing fishing style that goes with the shadows and stuff in the water, but make it so it's shadows cast on the ground that tells you there's something to catch. But then you cast a rod that's attached to a kite, and you catch, like, flying things. So you catch, like, birds by fishing. Or you catch, like, bugs, in this case, because you're going to be small. So you catch, like, different kinds of bugs for your fishing, instead of catching, like, fish. Yeah, no, so that was actually a thing, Finn. 100% Mari would be the one buying the moss from people. Would be the idea. Mari would 100% be actually the person you would trade with. So Mari would be fulfilling the role of the king of all cosmos. Well, in theory, yes, but you're also catching them in general. I'm going to raise the same argument here, Dor. Does fishing not hurt the fish? like I get what you're getting at, but fishing also hurts the fish. So you're kind of stuck in a... They get a hook through their cheek. There's a whole argument, oh, they don't feel it, blah, blah, blah. You're putting a hook through their cheek when you catch a fish. So, yes, but like I said, I want to make it like catching, I want to make it so you are catching bugs. Because people are would be less bothered by that, but you'd be bug fishing. Could, yes, but again, like I said, I'm going to be using bugs, not birds for this. Yeah, no, so fishing is an action. Fishing is an action. Fishing doesn't actually have to do with fish. Fishing as an action is the idea of using bait to lure something into a trap. That is what fishing would mean by definition. So hunting itself can involve trapping, right? Trapping is a form of fishing. But in this case, you would still use a rod. The idea that I have is like you would take a kite. It would be a kite, a small kite with a string attached to it. That string would be attached to a fishing rod. So that way you could reel it back in as a thing, and then you would be reeling in the bugs. This is the fun part, Finn! Moss! Everything is moss! Moss is the currency. Different colors of moss will catch different types of bugs, and it's all just gonna be moss. I get to use moss. I'll use moss for everything. But the whole idea, and power washing is also kind of inspiration, but mainly just the way power washing works. So like this action here, picture what I'm doing here, right? But having a sort of vacuum. So you'd be sucking up the moss to harvest it inside of a giant terrarium that it would slowly regrow over time. And as you collect it and whatnot, that would add to your count, right? You're welcome to, Dor, but I'm not that far yet. This could be years out. This is a long-term project. But you could capture the bugs that way, and I think it would be really fun. I think it would be really fun to have like the moss as a thing, and what I want to do is have the moss have little flowers throughout. I talked about this the other day. I want to have the moss have like little flowers. And then you could also collect the flowers, but the flowers are really, really uncommon. And then as you're collecting the flowers or whatever, it's just slowly counting it. And you can have an achievement when you get 1 million. So once you get 1 million of them, you get an achievement in reference to Katamari. And it's just a completely passive goal, and it might give you, like, a special cosmetic. Like, I think every achievement should have a cosmetic that comes with it. So every achievement you get, there's a cosmetic you can unlock for your character. Is the idea. And then all of the characters in it I've already planned are all going to be, because I want to do, like, a cutesy design similar to Katamari for the characters, but I'm thinking every single character will be an anthropomorphized type of mushroom. And then you can just choose what kind of mushroom you want to be, and then you can color swap the mushroom. So if you wanted to be like a devil's finger mushroom, you could be, or if you wanted to be an ink cap, you could be, and you can change, like you could customize the colors just to make you look however you want, right? So you're a little mushroom going around collecting moss, and that's all I want to do. And I just want it to be a super chill game to play with your friends. No in-game chat, nothing like that, no typing, no need for any of it. The idea would probably be heavily just done on learning how to do different emotes and waving and maybe putting stickers down. The method of catching them would be them flying. They would generally probably not be on things. You'd be catching them with the kite. So it wouldn't have your crawlies, just your flying ones. But it's a concept right now, so things may change. Hey Mars, maybe I'll have both net and kite catching of bugs, right? Depending on what you're after. You can do whatever you want, Dor. But yeah, like there's no like set thing. It's that's just where the idea is at. The idea may evolve over time. A big thing with my game design plans is I don't write these down. I don't write them down. Because I don't want to write them down. I don't like my ideas being set to some important, like, here's what you're doing. I don't like that idea, right? I don't like people being restricted in that way. I don't have any plans at all in that regard, Finn. I think the idea would probably be you would be able to put them in some sort of special terrarium just for the bugs. And you can have one of each, and then I don't know what happens the rest. Maybe it just goes, you already have one and releases it. I don't know. Or you caught a bigger one. Do you want to keep this one instead? I don't know. I would say if it's just a general art piece, you can just post it in the art gallery in the Discord. If it's related to me or Mari specifically, or my streams and stuff, I would put it in the fan art submissions folder. It should be under a clips fan art and something in my Discord would be the best spots. I mean, I've been given a gift. I'm going to like it. Unless you've created something that secretly is meant to offend me in some way, I think you're good. But yeah, no, like the game's ideas are not cemented. There's just general things that I want to do. Vague bullet points on a list of ideas, right? I don't want to fine-tune things till they're actually starting to be implemented. Like with my overlay stuff, I had a general idea for a existing scene. The original idea for my overlay that you're looking at right now was going to be a cityscape. And look how it changed. It became this. It's not a cityscape at all, right? But it was originally conceptualized as a cityscape. And that's the thing. I don't think I would have had as fun of a thing. I don't think we would have had Planet Marimo as a thing. I don't think any of that would have existed. Had I actually written things down and stuck to it. I don't like writing ahead. I don't like planning ahead. And there's nothing wrong with that. If it's something that needs to be written. But what do you need to write down sometimes, right? Like, why do you need to be so trapped in the original thought? The ideas need to evolve and grow and change. And I think if I were to write down what I wanted the game to have, I think I would end up more with decision paralysis than actually getting to enjoy and appreciate the idea of the artwork evolving, right? Because the actual original inspiration for what I wanted to do is a game of Katamari I never got to play. Like, the main inspiration for the game I want to make is Katamari Damacy Online, which never made it to the States. I mean, I'm forgetful too, Dor, but that's kind of the thing. My brain handles creative ideas very well, and they don't leave, they only evolve. Which can be for better or for worse, but I think that's kind of the thing. It's like I'm going to have more passion with the latest iteration of my idea than I ever am the originals. And if I have it written down, I'm going to feel like I have to do that thing. And I don't want to have to do. I don't want to have to create a certain thing. The whole point of creativity is to be free. Artists should be free to create however it works best for them to create. This is kind of a thing that I've talked about with. I mean, it's fine, Mars. I'm not a holiday person in general, and it's Christmas for you, so that's all that really matters on that, right? Why is the back clean? But no, it's one of those things where, like, I understand that, like, writing things down can help. But, like, when I, like, commission things, I'm intentionally vague on what I want. Hell, like, even, like, Cleo's VTuber model, I think is a good reference here. Cleo's VTuber model, right? Cleo commissioned that from Lyra, gave the concept art, and then Lyra's like, would you be cool if I tried doing this or this? And then Cleo's stance was just, yeah, no, do whatever you think will work best. You're the artist. And that's the thing. Let artists do their thing, and you will get the best art they could create. Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think having reference points is good and looking back at bits of it, but I think the general idea of when the idea is in the concept stages, when you don't even have things put down on paper, like when you're just conceptualizing and evolving the idea, that paper can restrict you. I'd rather think of what is the ideal version or the thing, because here's the thing about, like, forgetting the ideas to me. The things that that are going to stick with me, those are the important parts. The memories I have of what I want to create are the important parts. If I never created it, if I never got it out of the brain, then I don't mind losing it. But the things that did get created or did stick with me were the parts that I'm like, that should be there. That part should exist. That part has its value to my own idea, right? And, like, obviously, I think writing is a bit different, but I think it's more of that, like, you have your key bullet points, but anything in between there can really change. You don't have to stick to this hard, like, no, this has to happen. Like, does it? Do you need it to happen? Are you happy with that choice, kind of thing? Like, let your brain be happy. Happy brain space. Happy brain space. Life's too stressful. Pick the things that your brain's like, yeah, no, I like these things. Like, backups are fine of things you've created, but I think when you're conceptualizing, stay free. Stay free on your creations. That's the main thing. Let your concepts be happy. I'm a stressed out individual as is. Not living up to my own expectations is not where I want to be. And having these plans and being like, I need to do this. Like, no, I'm not going to be happy. Like, one of the big things, like, I'm going to be redoing large chunks of my overlay on my new computer, right? I'm going to be learning DaVinci Resolve instead of After Effects, which is what I use to make most of what I did. I'm going to be redrawing all of my effects where I was trying to basically recreate the video game effects. I'm going to be drawing them and making them silly and fit in a bit more with my painted overlay. I'm going to... Basically, everything that looks like clean digital art, I'm going to redo as a drawing. And make it loose and more wiggly and more freeing, you know? That's what I want. I want to be free. So, yeah. Everybody handles art differently. But that's my bit of art. I like how they did these chains. They're horrible. they're just... Did you forget something in your little swinging animation there? Cameron found a bug. I guess it's not a bug. It's not a bug. It's not a glitch. It's an error. I got very confused by the ding. It's like, oh, I hit one of the piano keys. Those dark spots are considered clean, and I don't like that. Alright, let me save. It's getting late. We did manage 2 hours. I'm pleased with myself there. We will be doing this again soon. Yeah, they parroted it, but they forgot to... They just didn't parent... They missed part of it when they did it. Let me pause that. Hi, BB. Hi. You good? Yeah? BB says hello, everyone. But I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me tonight. I'm sorry my energy wasn't as high as I'd like it, but I'd like to think that y'all had fun. I'm gonna send you away, though. And I'm gonna say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that fun stuff. You have all been absolutely fantastic, and I do appreciate you. I think today... I'm gonna send you over to a burr. I'm gonna send you over to a burr. Gonna send you over to Bell Pepper. Bell Pepper is a sun bear. Bell Pepper is cool, and I think you will have fun over there. The stream is marked mature for language, but go be chill. Go be lovely. Go be wonderful for me. I will not be streaming tomorrow. Maybe I might stream tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where I'm at. Tomorrow is not my scheduled day, but maybe I'll stream. I don't know. I know a lot of people are going to be doing family stuff, all that, yada, yada, yada. But I appreciate y'all. Y'all have been lovely and wonderful. I thank you so much. But I will catch you all later. That said, see ya. Love ya. Bye-bye.